In the studio with me, we've got Joe Goldberg. He is from the Plymouth Memorial Hall. I would say it like the Ohio State, the Plymouth Memorial Hall. Sorry.
It comes with like a little pause. There,
right?
You know?
So talk about your story just a little bit, because I love the fact that you worked there in a different capacity and then came back, because I like going back to your roots, coming back in a different fashion.
Yeah. To go back further,
right?
I actually worked for the Gillette company in South Boston.
Okay.
And I did all their media. And I was actually on the American Chopper, the TV show.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I was on 3 episodes.
How cool.
They did the Gillette bike. So I was there. I did the factory tour with them, the build, and then when they launched it at the Prudential Center. So Gillette got bought out by Procter & Gamble. And my entire department got let go because of the buyout.
Okay.
And I thought, hey, this would be an opportunity to go out and start my own company.
I love that you were like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur now, because that's what I did, because you're thrust into what am I going to do next?
Yeah, I'm the type of person where if I put my future or trust into someone else's hands, then what happened to me would happen. So I didn't want to do that again. So I figured win or fail, I did it on my own. So I started my own company, and about a year later, Plymouth Memorial Hall came up for bids from the town.
Yeah.
I put the bid in, I won the bid, and I managed it as a private contractor for the town.
So cool. I really love that. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Jackie. Thank you guys for checking in. Happy Friday. Is everybody ready for the cold weather? I'm just not. I'm over it. Tonight, we're halfway through winter. Just tonight.
Tonight is.
I'm like, okay, halfway. I know. I'm trying to think of it glass half full. I'm not quite there yet. So you worked for Gillette. You got this town bid. Here you are now working in a contractor fashion at Plymouth Memorial.
Yeah, my job was to bring the shows into Memorial Hall.
Okay.
So we did. We brought in the group Lifehouse, Twisted Sister, Smash Mouth. We brought in some really, really decent names.
Now that's fun, and that's kind of stressful, though. The management of wrangling all of that and then bringing it to Plymouth.
Yes, because once you strike a deal with an artist and they come, now your job is to go out and sell it. And get people interested in coming.
Yeah, I think people forget the whole aspect of before you buy tickets. I mean, we're giving Ticketmaster a lot of grief because they deserve it, because they make too much stupid money off of all their $87,000 worth of fees.
Yeah.
However, on a small local level like this, managing talent, their companies, riders, making sure all of that's done before you even get a chance to sell tickets is so stressful.
Oh, totally. And what they talk about the contract, like an artist needs to have like white M&Ms in the dressing room. It's totally
You were that
true.
guy?
Yeah, I was
You were
that
the white
guy.
M&M deliverer?
Yep, I was.
I love that.
Yeah, so it was a good time. And then, like I was telling you earlier, in 2012, the banking crisis hit and all the homes, the foreclosures and everything.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, exactly. And the unfortunate side of that is people stop with entertainment. When they start cutting back in budgets, that's what it is. So I actually had the pleasure of writing my own job description. The town asked, what should we do? I said,
cool.
Yeah, like the town said, you got to take this back. The money you can make as opposed to trying to put out for bids. And so they did. They took my advice. I wrote my job description. They hired this gentleman, Pat O'Brien, and he did a phenomenal job running the hall. And then after COVID, when COVID hit, the hall closed
because
down.
another crisis.
Yeah.
Here we are.
So it closed down for 18 months. It was empty.
Which is so sad, and we desperately needed some fashion of arts in our life when that ended.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we finally got the okay from the governor of Massachusetts, that hey, we can start doing events again.
Yeah.
The person, Kara, who was overseeing it, who's a phenomenal young lady.
Yeah, I've worked with her. She's great.
Yeah, she took another job elsewhere, and so the town's like, we need to fill it. I saw it. I jumped on it, and so I'm working in the job. I
Full
wrote
circle.
the yeah,
Isn't
so
that funny?
Yeah.
But it's got to be a different experience now.
It is. Now I'm not, like if a show does well or a show doesn't do well, I still get paid.
Right.
Instead of having to worry about paying everybody else before you get paid.
It's a little different when you're bootstrapping your own company versus working for somebody. It doesn't mean you're going to work less hard. I feel like it's just less anxiety on your own personal back.
Exactly.
And you want it to succeed, and it where it is, Plymouth Memorial Hall is a staple. You were talking earlier about it being almost 100 years old.
Yeah, we're coming up on our 100th anniversary. And that's the cool thing is we don't just do concerts. We do weddings. We do expos. We have a wine expo coming up. Private
this weekend,
parties. Yeah, we've had
sold out though.
Yep, exactly.
Act fast next time.
What else? We do wedding showers, baby showers. We do all those. We can meet those needs. And we just actually did a wedding.
I saw some of the social that you had from that wedding, and it looked incredible.
Yeah, that was the Geller wedding. They did a phenomenal job. They strung lights from like Christmas
it was
lights.
Magical. It was just really, really such a pretty thing. Definitely go and follow Plymouth Memorial Hall on social so you can see some of their events because they really did a bang up job for that wedding.
Yeah, we do our best. And one of the things I'm able to do is help people walk them through their event, whether it be a wedding or a concert or a comedy event, because I've had the experience. Like, walk you through to do my best I can to make you successful.
That's nice to have somebody that has come from that background to be able to help people when it comes to stuff like that because you know the unknowns.
Yeah.
And you can kind of plan for it because you've done this before. You're like, not my first rodeo. I got this.
Yep. And I'm very much a people person. So, like, for instance, the Geller wedding, they came in a couple days afterwards because they had actually taken a couple things that belonged to the hall with them, so they were bringing it back. And so when they came back in, they were like, Joe, you weren't just here. We felt like you were part of the family during this whole thing. So that made me feel really good. It was like, wow, I built that connection.
Cheers, Tom. I'm glad the Jag made it to Boston. He has to go to Boston for his chemo treatments. And there was that horrible weather we had with the rain.
Yeah.
And he got stuck on the side of the road. At least the state police in Plymouth actually gave him a ride to his treatments.
That's awesome.
It's so awful. We love you, Tom. Get well soon. And I hope you have a really quick day in Boston today. Yeah. So Plymouth Memorial Hall is coming up with a bunch of wintertime activities, and we all need some activities because it's the doldrums. We just talked about it. Halfway through winter, and you've got different stuff. So you've got the South Shore Food and Wine Expo, which is sold out, but you've got like the cornhole tournament and Beatles tributes, and then MMA fighting.
Yeah, we do. We have the Philharmonic's putting on winning scores. It's sports and music.
Which I was looking over kind of an overall part of it all where he trades the baton for a racket. And I'm like, all right, that might actually be fun to just watch. And it's a family show.
It is. It is very much a family show. In fact, they just this past weekend, they did the James Bond, all the best music of James Bond.
So cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
So that's like an in-house orchestra or a local?
It's a local orchestra.
Awesome.
The Plymouth Philharmonic. They're all throughout the South Shore.
And I saw that you've got a benefit for them coming up.
Yeah, that's we got a couple shows coming up for them. It's the Beatles one we have coming up. They're playing all the Beatles music. And that's the benefit the Philharmonic.
What's the one with the Jimi Hendrix of the violin? That totally intrigued me.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
who is that?
Hold on, I have that written down.
Because it looked so cool.
It is Eileen Ives, and she's known as the Jimi Hendrix of violin.
I'm so down for. I don't know whether it's TikTok or Reels now that has like randos like playing violin or songs that don't belong with other songs or the mashups. Like I'm so there for it. So I just
hope she doesn't light the violin on fire. Right. Just no purple haze.
Nobody yells fire in an auditorium.
Yeah,
please,
exactly.
God Almighty, we need to preserve this hall.
Yeah.
What is like in your early days of working at the hall? What is like a crazy moment that you remember from being there? Can you think of some show you're like, I can't do this job?
Yeah,
it's like,
actually,
but in a fun way.
This one wasn't at Memorial Hall.
Okay,
I was working with a very good '80s all-female band.
Okay,
and they were supposed to play a private event, which I was producing for a company, and they were supposed to take the stage at 10 o'clock, and usually most bands show up hours ahead of time.
Everybody listen up because this is what's going to happen to all of us with the Madonna tickets that we're holding right now. This is what's going to happen.
So now it's like 9:30. I'm looking at their band manager and I'm like, hey, what is going on? They got to take the stage in a half hour. Oh, they'll be here. They'll be here. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, they'll be here. At 5 minutes to 10, this giant limo rolls up. The door opens up and the lead singer falls backwards. Yeah, butt up over her head, feet out. They were totally hammered. I was like, What?
Coffee stat.
Oh, yeah. So
good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Sarah. And good cold morning to you, Carol. Yep. So, ass over tea kettle falls
exactly.
in.
I didn't know if I could say that.
Oh, you can't. We can talk here freely.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep. And I'm just like, oh, man. And so the band manager's like, no, we're good. I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, right? And they had to prop the entire band.
Are we going to give her a shot of adrenaline? What's going to happen here?
They did. Let me tell you, when they hit the stage, it was perfect.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah.
That does not feel good as a promoter and a person that is working back behind the scenes, and now you've got drunk skunks getting ready to take stage.
But it was something else.
That's awesome.
But I had another band at Memorial Hall. They wanted apples. They were very specific that they had to have apples. I'm like, okay. All right, so I got them apples, and at the end of the night, when they were cleaning up the dressing room, we found all the apples that they had drilled holes in it and made them into pipes.
Weed is legal now, and we don't need to be smoking out of apples. But
yeah, I guess it was the apple flavor they liked. I don't know. I don't judge.
That was the specific.
It was, they were very specific that they had to have apples.
Is that the weirdest thing on a rider that you ever saw afterwards, or you've seen weirder on riders?
No, you see the different things. I had one where the entire dressing room had to be white. All the furniture, the carpet, everything. We had to repaint the whole dressing room.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead
Just
serious.
to have this artist there?
Yep. And it was a very, very famous artist, and it was worth it.
Okay.
But yeah.
That seems some like Mariah Carey level shit right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I did do a Rod Stewart concert once many years ago, and he had to have an RV close to the stage. Which I get because he just needed his rest. So when he got out, he went right on stage. Yeah, and we did it. So
I love that you made an RV next to. Was it at the Court Street location?
No.
I was like,
this was in Boston. That
would be pretty impressive.
We had plenty of room to do it, so it was something we could absolutely do. So.
I love this. How do people get a hold of you if they want to maybe rent the hall for a specific activity or thing that they have coming up that they were like, this is the perfect location?
Yeah, everything go to memorialhall.com.
Okay. And how early in advance should people be planning to book with you?
Oh gosh, we're
years in advance,
yeah,
right?
We're booking out about a year and a half in advance.
Okay. I feel like that's most things, especially if we're talking weddings here. We just passed January, which is usually National Wedding Planning Month.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking about using the hall, as we were just talking about that fantastic wedding you just had, definitely get online.
Yeah.
Go talk to Joe. Joe Goldberg, the man here, not the serial killer that is in the book You, just in case. When I saw it, I was like, Joe Goldberg, why do I know that name? Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, I have a conscience. And I don't have maybe I do. I don't know. There's a glass box somewhere in the world.
You're right. Caroline Kepnes is actually a Cape Cod writer. She went to school and grew up in New York, but she now currently lives in Centerville. So she wrote You right here on Cape Cod. So I was like, maybe, you are owed some dues, some revenue, at least some money in reparations for what you have to deal with at this point in time. Because now people are double checking. Does it really say Joe Goldberg?
Well, you know how hard it is.
He seems too nice.
You know how hard it is to tag myself in anything on Facebook? At Joe Goldberg. I'm like, wait a minute. I'll go through 30 names, and that's not me.
And she's got a new book that's just coming out. She's sending out the previews right now.
Oh, really?
And I just signed up for it last night, and then I looked at my email, and I'm like, oh, no. That's why I came to this revelation last night, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, this is Joe Goldberg from Plymouth Memorial Hall. And we've got a lot of events that are coming up this season. Anything else? Some good history about the hall I would like to talk about, because we had talked on the air and you just had such a great story. Can you share with our viewers?
Yeah, we have, some of the bands we talk about.
Because you've got some big ones coming up. Amy Grant, Lewis Black, America. It's not always just like cornhole tournaments, which are great and local and fun. You've got big stuff there too.
Yeah, actually we do. Last year we did a lot of the bands we have coming back. We had Three Dog Night last year.
So
which
good.
Was really good.
I don't care if they're aged. I still like all of their songs. Their music library is fabulous.
Well, it's funny when you watch some of these older bands because you see a guitarist up there and they swaying back and forth, but they're getting old when he's kind of doing like the 2-step sideways, 2-step the other sideways.
Yeah.
But hey, they go out and their voice still rocks it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So even the Righteous Brothers are coming out, or the Righteous Brother.
Yeah, Righteous Brother. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is the second time we've had to reschedule this show because of COVID.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that does happen. But the history of Plymouth Memorial Hall, you've been there for almost 100 years. And what is the evolution of the hall?
It started out as just a local gathering place. People played basketball. We were talking earlier. They would play donkey basketball.
I've never heard of this in my entire life. It's like low budget polo. Yeah. I can't even imagine people on the backs of donkeys playing basketball.
Oh, it was the craziest thing. And they would do it.
Bring it back.
They'd have like little sneakers that they would put on the donkeys. So it wouldn't
Stop.
No,
That's
I'm kidding you. Little Nikes, and they would put them on them and I don't know how fast they were going.
Why have I never heard of donkey basketball? We can't do those things anymore. We
can't. I don't think it would go over well.
Those are the days of yore.
We had the Globetrotters have been there quite a few times.
Oh, I loved the Harlem Globetrotters. They were great.
Yeah, they are.
That's fun. So it was a meeting place. It was a gathering place. And you've had some mega stars there.
Yeah, we've had some. Twisted Sister was there. Lifehouse played there. Smash Mouth was there. We had some really good bands.
Bob Dylan story, please.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I shared it on the radio. The story is in 1976, Bob Dylan took some time off from music, and he lived in Plymouth. And if you Google...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you Google it, you could actually see pictures of him on the Mayflower, walking the beach, and
so cool.
Things like that. So he wrote the song Hurricane while he was here in Plymouth, is what I was told.
Didn't know that.
Yep. And,
whether it's real or not, we'll claim it.
Yep. And Joan Baez came to visit him. And so she got him to do an impromptu concert at Plymouth Memorial Hall on October 31st, 1976. And for the first time, he played Hurricane.
Incredible.
Yeah. And I actually have the bootleg of it. Someone did a reel-to-reel bootleg.
That is amazing.
And
I still have scars from my reel-to-reel days. They were short-lived, thankfully. So my fingers aren't that bad.
Yeah.
Reel-to-reel. I have one of those things in the other room.
Yeah.
It's my history museum over there.
Actually, that's the best music. I remember the 8-tracks.
Yeah, I have a box of 8-tracks in there. I've got my reel-to-reel in there. I was like, I'm just holding them just cuz.
Oh, I used to love the sound when you hit the button on the 8-track. It would switch tracks.
Yes.
Like, boom, boom, boom.
It has a distinct noise. I really do love that nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that noise and the little crackly. I love it.
Yes.
And I love that artists are bringing back vinyl as giveaways. And I like that sound. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife the other day, and we were talking about, do you remember when you bought an album, it was like a book?
Yes.
You would open it up, it had pictures and writings, and it was like this whole thing, not just, like in 99 cents I can get a song.
I know. It is very different. It was the whole story. It was the evolution of how they arrived at this album.
Yes.
Making the album. It's the whole story. It's now what they do on social media.
Yeah.
But you have to hunt for it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you bought the album, you bought a piece of them almost.
Yep. And you would sit there for hours just going through the album.
Days.
Yeah.
And then listening to the song and trying to get into the mind frame of where they were when they wrote this, like taking all those stories and those lyrics in and just sitting there and ingesting the song.
Yeah. Yep.
Very different now.
Well, what's the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Yeah.
About Queen, right?
Yeah.
And they talk about when they were recording their albums, how they went out to a farmhouse and they did it. Today they got to watch a movie to experience that. But when we were kids, we'd buy that album.
Yeah.
And it was all these write-ups of their notes and thoughts and the things that they went through when they made that album, what made it special. You'd play it for the first time and you'd sit there for an hour just going through the album and how cool that was.
I know. I love that.
Yeah.
And that is what I feel like when I go see a show at Plymouth Memorial Hall. It's got that like nostalgia, that history. You can feel it in the building.
Yeah. And it's like, for instance, when Twisted Sister came and played, people going in for the show, but if they were hanging around afterwards, I mean, you literally could be walking out the door down the hallway and bam, there you are with Dee Snider.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, oh, wow. And you're like, yeah, because it gives you that intimate feeling.
It totally does. I really love that because you can have a regular conversation. They are just regular people walking around.
Exactly.
And it is nice that you have that magic moment, I guess.
Yeah. And the coolest thing is the way Memorial Hall is designed, the furthest seat from the stage is no more than 70 feet.
Incredible.
Yeah, there's no binoculars needed. You see right there everything.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal.
It's a great venue. We're urging you to check it out. We're going to have more tickets, and we're going to have Joe on hopefully once or twice a month. Maybe we'll see what his schedule brings us when he's got events that are happening and maybe just something fun that he wants to share with us. I'd love to have you back.
Oh, I'd love to come back if you let me. Yeah,
Doors
absolutely.
always open. Let everybody know how to find you. Definitely follow them on Facebook, Plymouth Memorial Hall. Give them a like and follow.
Yes, please do. And if you see me walking around, because I'm everywhere, stop and say hi.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on by.
Thank you.
Have a
good
great
day.
Friday, everybody. Go see a show. Take in some arts.